O mind, just worship the lotus feet of the son of Nanda, which make one fearless. Having obtained this rare human birth, cross over this ocean of worldly existence through the association of saintly persons. Both in the day and at night, I remain sleepless, suffering the pains of the heat and cold, the wind and the rain. For a fraction of flickering happiness, I have uselessly served wicked and miserly men. What assurance of real happiness is there in all of one's wealth, youthfulness, sons, and family members? This life is tottering like a drop of water on a lotus petal. Therefore, we should always serve and worship the divine feet of Lord Hari. It is a desire and great longing of Govinda Dasa to engage himself in the nine processes of bhakti, namely hearing the glories of the Lord Hari and chanting those glories, constantly remembering him and offering prayers to him, serving the Lord's lotus feet, serving the Supreme Lord as a servant, worshipping him with flowers and incense and so forth, serving him as a friend, and completely offering the Lord one's very self. भजहु रे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणर विंदरे भजहु रे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणर विंदरे दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे तरोए भव सिंदुरे दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे तरहुए भव सिंदुरे भजहु रे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणर विंदरे शीत आतप बात भरीषण हे दिन जामिनी जागिरे विफल से विनु कृपण दुरजन विफल से विनु कृपण दुरजन चपल सुख लब लागिरे भजहु रे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणर विंदरे हे धन यौवन पुत्र परिजन हित कियाचे परती तिरे कमल दल जल जीवन टलमल कमल दल जल जीवन टलमल भजहु हरिपद नीति रे भजहु रे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणर विंदरे श्रवण कीर्तन स्मरण वंदन पाद सेवन दास्य रे पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन गोविंद दास अभिलाष रे भजहु रे मन श्रीनंदनंदन अभय चरणर विंदरे अभय चरणर विंदरे अभय चरणर विंदरे हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय जगन्नाथ बलेश्वर माई की जय नरसिंह भगवान की जय पंच तत्व की जय षड गोस्वामी की जय गुरु परंपरा की श्री गोपाल हरि बोल ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयम् उदीरयेत्. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of God Narayana, unto Narayana Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी by regular attendance in classes in the Bhagavatam, and by rendering of service to the pure devotee. All that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. So today we'll be discussing from 4th canto, 11th chapter, verse number 22. Let us recite this verse first. केचित् कर्म वदन्त्येनं स्वभावम् अपरे नृप एके कालं परे दैवम् पुंसः कामम् उतापरे केचित् कर्म वदन्त्येनं स्वभावम् अपरे नृप एके कालं परे दैवम् पुंसः कामम् उतापरे केचित् कर्म वदन्त्येनं स्वभावम् अपरे नृप एके कालं परे दैवम् पुंसः कामम् उतापरे. One Mataji, one Prabhu, you can recite.
Hare Krishna, may I?
Yes, Prabhu.
केचित् कर्म वदन्त्येनं स्वभावम् अपरे नृप एके कालं परे दैवम् पुंसः कामम् उतापरे. Hare Krishna.
Hare
One
Krishna.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Yes,
May I?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Archana Mataji.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji. Kechit karma vadantyenam swabhavam apare nripa eke kalam pare daivam pumsah kamam utapare. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Synonymous word to word meaning. Kechit, some, karma, fruitive activities. Vadanti, explain. Enam, that. Swabhavam, nature. Apare, others. Nripa, my dear King Dhruva. Eke, some. Kalam, time. Pare, others. Daivam, fate. Pumsaha, of the living entity. Kamam, desire. Uta, also. Apare, others. Translation and purport with Divine Geshe Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Please hear the translation purport. The differentiation among varieties of life and their suffering and enjoyment is explained by some to be the result of karma. Others say it is due to nature, others due to time, others due to fate, and still others say that it is due to desire. Purport. There are different types of philosophers: Mimamsakas, atheists, astronomers, sexualists, and so many other classifications of mental speculators. The real conclusion is that it is our work only that binds us within this material world in different varieties of life. How these varieties have sprung up is explained in the Vedas. It is due to the desire of the living entity. The living entity is not a dead stone. He has different varieties of desire or karma. The Vedas say karma or karshit. The living entities are originally parts of the Lord, like sparks of a fire, but they have dropped to this material world, attracted by desire to lord it over nature. That is a fact. Every living entity is trying to lord it over the material resources to the best of his ability. This karma or desire cannot be annihilated. There are some philosophers who say that if one gives up his desires, he again becomes liberated. But it is not at all possible to give up desire, for desire is a symptom of the living entity. If there were no desire, then the living entity would be a dead stone. Srila Narottama Das Thakura therefore advises that one turn his desire towards serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then desire becomes purified. And when one's desires are purified, one becomes liberated from all material contamination. The conclusion is that the different philosophers' theories to explain the varieties of life and their pleasure and pain are all imperfect. The real explanation is that we are eternal servants of God, and that as soon as we forget this relationship, we are thrown into the material world, where we create our own different activities and suffer or enjoy the result. We are drawn into this material world by desire. But the same desire must be purified and enjoyed and employed in the devotional service of the Lord. Then our diseases of wandering in the universe under different forms and conditions will end. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Gyan Jamanandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Subhadandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yudapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahagana Raghunatamitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganadita Shri Vishakavitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Taptakanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhishcha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Yonta Pravisha Mamavacha Mimam Prasuptam Sanjeevayate Galashakti Anyam च हस्तचरण श्रवणत्वगादि प्राणानमो भगवते शायतुभ्यं मुखं करोति वाचां पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमं प्रमाण नमो विष्णुवे कृष्णपृष्ठभूतले श्रीमती महाविष्णु स्वामिते नामने नमो विष्णुवे कृष्णपृष्ठभूतले So Hare Krishna, please Matajis. So welcome all of you and thank you very much for keeping the appointment with Krishna today. Today is a very auspicious day, Ekadashi, and today is 26th of March 2025. It's a beautiful verse. It's a very good chapter also to learn various lessons. So we are all here to hear Bhagavatam, not to prove that I am attending Bhagavatam, but to improve ourselves. Not to prove, but to improve ourselves. So Prabhupada says, the differentiation among varieties of life and their suffering and enjoyment is explained by some of the to be the result of karma. See, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Ha Brahma Bhavana Lokat Punar Avartani Arjuna. In 8.16 he says, see, by activity, by past activities or worshipping different demigods, you go to the higher planets, right? Up to the Brahmaloka, where the standard of life is very, very great, where the duration of is also very great. But that is also not permanent. See, actually we are permanent, eternal. And we are trying to be happy in the non-permanent condition of life. And this is called Mandabuddhi, right? Less brain. See, we are spirit souls. Nitya Shashvata. See, I am eternal means Shashvata. Na hanyate hanyamare shariri. 2.20 Bhagavad Gita says. I do not die even after the annihilation of this body. So then where is my eternal body? So this question should be raised by us in this human form of life. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. But people do not consider the real problem, right? They think that immediately I require some money. So let me worship this demigod, that demigod. Right? So that is condemned in the Bhagavad Gita. Antavattu phalam tesham tad bhavati alpamedasam. 7.23 Bhagavad Gita says. So those who are worshipping demigods, apart from there are many atheists also, right? Somehow at least worshipping demigods, but others, atheists, they don't believe in God. And they don't care for anything. They simply want a sense enjoyment. But it is said that you can get some immediate profit by worshipping different demigods, okay? That is all right. Prabhupada says in one of his lectures, that is all right. But that is not your permanent benefit. Because you are getting some profit by your karma, fruity karma, but you are creating another life. So to enjoy the fruity result of this karma, you have to wait for the next life. So next life means another material body. Another material body means another suffering, another chapter of suffering. That people do not understand. See, this thing can be understood only by the devotees, right? Premanjanachurita bhakti vilochanena santas sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yam shama sundaram achintya gunaswarupam govindamadi purusham bhajami. Brahma Samhita says, no? So bhakti marga means we want real life, eternal life, and varieties also. Anandamayo bhyasat, Vedanta Sutra says. Ananda, see, variety is a mother of enjoyment. Without variety, you cannot feel enjoyment. That is not possible. Prabhupada, in one of his classes, lectures, he says, suppose I simply give you a lump of like atta, no? Flour. Will you enjoy? No, but the same flour from that which you make kachori, puri, chapati, so many things, right? Then you will enjoy. See, ingredient is the same, but when it is variety, it is enjoyable. So simple, similarly, spiritual varieties. See, the impersonalists, no, they being fed up with these material varieties, they wanted to make it zero, shunya. But that will not help. In zero, we cannot be happy because by nature we want to enjoy. Enjoy means there must be varieties. So the same flour, right? You pick up some different varieties of flour and you will enjoy. Oh, it's very nice. So Krishna has given us so many varieties. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabis, Brahma Samhita says. Ananda Chinmaya, these varieties, no? Material, see, material varieties we cannot enjoy here. But there is a spiritual variety. That is Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabis, Thabirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabhihi. Just like Krishna himself is expanding himself as gopis, as covered boys, calves, cows, trees in Vrindavan, right? Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitabis. So they are all Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, expansion of Krishna's pleasure potency. See, we want liberation, right? But not liberation in the impersonal existence. That is not very safe. We must enter into the spiritual varieties of life. That is Krishna Loka, right? Vaikuntha Loka, right? Krishna says, Bhaktya Mam Abhijanati, Bhagavad Gita 18.55. He is Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. Satchidananda Vigraha. Sarva Karanakam, right? So his body is not like us. He is Satchidananda Vigraha. He has got a form. See, in Nectar of Devotion, characteristics of pure devotion service is given beautifully. See, there is a chain of sinful activities and their concomitant distresses. And the conditioned soul is suffering life after life due to these sins. He's suffering in the present life, the results of sinful activities from his past life. And it's meanwhile creating further sufferings for his future life. The mature sinful activities are exhibited if one is suffering from some chronic disease, if one is suffering from some legal implications, if one is born in a low and degraded family, or if one is uneducated or very ugly. So there are many results of past sinful activities for which we are suffering at the present moment. And we may be suffering in the future due to our present sinful activities. But all of these reactions to sinful deeds can immediately stop if we take to Krishna consciousness. See, as evidence for this, Srila Rupa Goswami, he quotes from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 14th chapter, verse number 19. And this verse is in connection with Krishna's instruction to Uddhava, where he says, My dear Uddhava, devotional service unto me is just like a blazing fire, which can burn into ashes, unlimited fuel supplied to it. See, just as a blazing fire can burn any amount of fuel to ashes, so devotional service to Lord in Krishna consciousness can burn up all the fuel of sinful activities. See, for example, in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna thought that fighting was a sinful activity. But Krishna engaged him on the battlefield under his order. And so the fighting became devotional service. Therefore, Arjuna was not subjected to any sinful reaction. So, how is it possible that anyone actually engaged in devotional service in full Krishna consciousness has not become purified? It is not possible. One who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and devotional service has without doubt become freed from all contaminations of material sinful activities. Devotional service, therefore, has the power to actually nullify all kinds of reactions to sinful seeds, sinful deeds. A devotee is nevertheless always alert, not to commit any sinful activities. This is the specific qualification of a devotee. See, if you work simply for satisfaction of Krishna, that is called yajna. Krishna's another name is yajna, yajneshwara. So yajnarthe karma, right? That's nice. You are free from any interaction or resultant action of your karma, then you are not responsible, right? It's very, very easy to understand. It's just like in an office. If you work for the satisfaction of the proprietor, then you have no responsibility, either loss or gain. You're free. But if you create your own plan and work under your own responsibility, then you will suffer or enjoy. So in this way, we are wandering in different species of life, different positions, different planets. Millions of trillions of planets are there. And there are 84 lakh species of life. In this way, we are wandering. This is our position. Karma means to enjoy the result of your activity. And when it is karma yoga, that means the activities which is your occupation, you engage yourself, you engage yourself in that activity, right? But you don't engage the result of your sense gratification, but you offer it to Krishna for the satisfaction. That is called karma yoga. Yoga means to link up with Krishna. See, you are inclined to work. All right, see, work. But the result of your work should be linked up to Krishna. That is called karma yoga. So yoga means linking up with the Supreme, and karma, when it is linked with Krishna, that is called karma yoga. See, if you offer it to Krishna, it's fine. It's best. It's the best thing. And if you don't offer him, then you have scarcity. Without Krishna, there is always scarcity. With Krishna, there is plenty. That's all. So we should always remember, no? Love Krishna, love to study Bhagavatam, love to study Bhagavad Gita, chant your rounds very nice, sincerely. That's how we survive. See, our survival depends upon chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. As devotees, we don't do anything else. That is akarma. And vikarma is forbidden activities. That which are not supposed to do, that is forbidden activities. Vikarma. See, out of the 5 major subjects discussed in Bhagavad Gita, right? Karma is the only thing that is temporary. And all others are eternal. However, karma is the most complex subject, no, and difficult to understand. So Krishna, while explaining to Arjuna about the concept of karma, he says in the 4th chapter, Karmano hi abo api bodhavyam, bodhavyam cha vikarmanah, akarmanascha bodhavyam gahana karmano gati. Gahana karmano gati means the intricacies of action are very difficult to understand. So this word gahana, it's not very used anywhere else in the Gita in any other context. So the theory of karma, it gives a scientific explanation of whatever we are seeing in this middle world. It is known as paradoxes, right? We see very good, pious people who are suffering in various ways. While thieves and rogues, they are happy with all the riches and comforts. People who are trying to perform devotional service, they are also not freed from various troubles. So this creates a doubt in the mind of the devotees, and especially pious people in general, whether God is just and fair. So when one understands the laws of karma and how they operate, that person becomes free from all bewilderment. So some long back, when I spoke to my Guru Maharaj over the phone, I asked this question. So he gave a very beautiful example. He said, in the villages, the farmers keep huge cylinders, for storing grains like rice, wheat, etc. So after the harvest, a portion of the harvest will be put in the cylinder for future use. So, and at the bottom of the cylinder, there will be opening, to collect the grains later on if you want. So very big cylinder, there's opening out, which is closed. So every harvest, they put some inside. Suppose the farmer harvested a very good amount of high quality rice last year, he would have put that rice in that cylinder, right? Now this year, his harvest was not very good, not sufficient also. And the quality also was not very good. But that also you would have put this also in the cylinder this year. Last year also is put, right? That is a good one. So when he collects the grain from the cylinder, from the bottom, through the opening at the bottom, he will get a good quality rice, which he has stored last year. So people may think, His harvest was not good this year. How come he is getting very good quality rice to eat? But a man in knowledge knows what is the truth. Correct. In the same way, the pious people and devotees may be doing good now, but still they have to face the results of the sinful activities done in their previous lifetimes. And this accounts for their suffering. And the rogues who are enjoying in this lifetime are getting the results of the previous pious activities. So, how devotees can handle karma? My Guru Maharaj said, a devotee who takes complete shelter of Krishna can face any situation, even if he is troubled by the reaction of his past activities. Should take the shelter. So we should take the safest shelter of Krishna in under all circumstances. See, Lord Krishna appears in our life by way of his katha. We are reading Bhagavatam katha. So he's entering our lives just to completely wash out the demonic tendencies in our hearts. Demons as well as demonic tendencies. When we dedicate our lives for hearing his messages. Krishna, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 4.17, right? Just now is karmano hyobo. So the intrigues of action are very hard to understand. He says that the ways of karma are unfathomable. What that means is that we cannot at any time fully comprehend why good or bad things appear. What Krishna wants us to understand is the framework for these complexities of the karma, so that by such an understanding we may get detached from the activities. So let us endeavor to just get a glimpse of the ways of karma and the fate, right, in the light of Krishna consciousness. See, the basic meaning of the word karma is simply action. So different kinds of action or karma are internal action by the mind and external action by the speech and body. Now, since everything we do makes an equal reaction return to us, the word karma implies not only action but reaction also. So this is confirmed by Newton's third law of thermodynamics, right? For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, which means that the energy we send out eventually boomerangs back to us. See, an example we can recognize is that if someone starts shouting in anger at his surroundings, his surroundings will eventually bring back the anger at him. So let us be careful. Rather tolerate what comes upon us by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. In order to not to multiply the karma at hand, right? So devotional service or devotional scriptures say that by chanting the holy names of the Lord, no, in a very helpless, prayerful mood, our bad karmas are minimized, maximum it is minimized. And we are able to start serving the Lord on the transcendental platform. Basically, in terms of time element, there are three types of karmas. Sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, and kriyamana karma. In Padma Puran, it says, just as the cultivators reap the crop of the seed they sow in their fields, likewise men enjoy the fruit of their karmas. Kriyamana karma. Kriyamana karmas are the seeds we are throwing out at present. That is actions we do in this life. See, we do many different types of activities in life which takes different amounts of time to bear fruits. Many things we do give swift results, like drinking water immediately quenches our thirst. Other activities like working to collect money for building a house are going to give results later. Right? So this is Kriyamana. Other activities we do now have reactions that cannot be boomerang to us in this life. So they are stored for future births, added to our total stock of karma. This is called Sanchita karma. Now, Prarabdha karma are the seeds we planted previously to this life. For example, a tree may be ready only after 50 years to build our house. We planted it in our previous life, huh? And now we cut it down to utilize its wood. Then we may live in that house for 100 years until it breaks down again. So when our ghost from the past, called Prarabdha karma, is fully exhausted, we are temporarily or long-standingly homeless, according to how long it takes for the demigods headed by Yamaraj to sort out our karma. The time we have to wait until taking rebirth varies according to how sinful we were. Good people may come back just after a few weeks in a human form, while others have to wait literally for ages because of the time it takes to exhaust their sinful reactions. See, the authority on afterlife, Garuda Puran, it states that on death, a person acquires another body, to which he is taken by the messengers of death. A person goes to hell due to sins, papa, right? And to heaven due to good deeds, punya. So after leaving heaven or hell, he takes birth in the womb of a woman again. So after death, we experience life beyond the gross sensual body, similar to a dream. When we dream, right? Our senses are part of our mind. So we still experience, see, the difference is that just now we are able to be confronted with our current lives, good and bad actions, which are all noted by the demigods. See, we can understand each and every living entity is very important for Krishna. So everything we do is observed and we get good and bad reactions in proximity to this, just in order to help us to get rid of our demonic attachments and encourage our development of goodness. So Sanchita is a storehouse of the seeds or bijas, which are stored impressions or reactions of what we did in the past. So specific seeds from this storehouse are picked out and planted in the earth for each specific lifetime. Just as when planting seeds, sunflower may give results just after a few weeks. Growing peanuts taking 3-4 months, and a tree can take years to grow. Just like the example of Chinese maso bamboo can take up to 4 years of preparation before the visible growth occurs. It's a great inspiration for how steady preparation eventually yields great results. Just like we now have to go on with our sadhana of hearing and chanting, although not much result is visible. The massive of bamboo similarly has to be watered every day for up to 4 years in some cases before visible above the ground level. But what is taking place during all that time of seemingly no result is that it grows an incredible strong root system for hundreds of meters around, and that will serve to support its eventual enormous growth. Because once it faces the sun, in ideal conditions, it grows up to 3 feet per 24 hours until it reaches 60 feet, which makes it one of the fastest growing plants in the world. Similarly, we may go on patiently practicing our sadhana bhakti of watering our bhakti lata bija of Krishna bhakti, purifying ourselves, and working on growing strong roots of attachment to Krishna. So in case of bamboo, if one stops watering just because there is no visible growth in the initial period, right, then the growth is hampered. So similarly, we should also not stop watering the creeper of devotional service just because we don't see any kind of visible progress or advancement. So when we patiently and diligently perform our sadhana, Krishna takes care of helping us in increasing our attachment to Krishna. See, the Dharma Shastra says that if we offend another person, very important point to understand. If we offend another person unjustly, for example, sorry, by fault finding him by or lying to him, or in case of mistreating a guest, what happens? Our stock of good karma, it goes to that person injured by our offense. While at the same time, his bad karma is transferred to us. So the material world works in that we share in with the karma of those we serve. Another beautiful point. See, that's why Dharma Shastras also says that a chaste wife shares in the good karma of her husband and vice versa. So what happens when we take to devotional service? What happens? First of all, we share the good position of the devotees we serve. When we serve a good devotee, we also share that, especially headed by a spiritual master, right? See, by dint of our spiritual austerities, they are able to burn away any type of karma entering, gross or subtle. That is because, as devotee, if we search spiritual master, no, they burn away the bad karma coming to them by to us, right? By serving our spiritual master, and so ending up all the sinful activities. Srila Prabhupada has explained the purpose of middle world as being twofold. One is for enjoying material fruits of work or karma phala bhoga. Enjoying material fruits of work. That is one. By the middle world is there. Purpose of middle world. Second purpose of the middle world is to free us from the propensity to enjoy matter by taking us into the process of devotional service for the enjoyment of the Lord. So now we have a picture emerging of a bird which is eating. Bird which is eating. That is a conditioned soul. Sitting next in the tree, in the heart of the body, together with a superior non-eating bird, super soul. So when the jiva soul becomes attentive to the super soul's request to stop eating, what happens? The jiva, it becomes bewildered and inquires to the super soul, if I am meant to cease, not enjoy the fruits now, what should I do in order to become happy? So the super soul in the form of the Vedas answer, Yasmin tushte jagat tushte. Satisfy him. The whole world, including you, is going to be satisfied as well. So satisfy Krishna. So this kama or desire, no, it cannot be annihilated. It's not at all possible to give up desire. Because desire is a symptom of the living entity. If there were no desire, living entity would be dead stone, right? See in Bhagavatam 6.154, Dagva nimittam avyaktam vyakta vyaktam bhavatyuta yata yoni yata bijam swabhavena baliyasa. The fruitive activities which a living being performs, no, whether pious or impious, okay, they are the unseen cause for the fulfillment of his desires. So this unseen cause is a root for the living entity's different bodies. Now, because of his intense desire, the living entity takes birth in a particular family and receives a body which is either like that of his mother or like that of his father. So the gross and subtle bodies are created according to his desire. So this verse spoken by Yamadutas to Vishnu Dutas in the course of explaining the history of Ajamila. This verse makes it very clear there is a distinction between the gross body and the subtle body. And the reason for our existence is the intense desire. Now, Krishna has given all the facilities for all our desires to be fulfilled. It's just a question of which life it will be fulfilled. Understood? Krishna has given all the facilities for all our desires to be fulfilled. So be careful what you're desiring. Because it's just a question of which life it will be fulfilled. So the materialists always ask the question, how can we continue to suffer or enjoy when the body is gone? So this question is very beautifully answered by Narada Muni. See, it is our desire that translates into consciousness. Consciousness is nothing more than the projection of one's desires. See, at the end of life, whatever state of consciousness we are, which is composed of all our desires, is carried by the subtle body to the next body based on the accumulated desires. The next body is being formed even as we live now. Okay, we are living now, but next body is being formed based on the desires we are accumulating in our minds. Subtle body, which is made of mind, intelligence, false ego, it takes imprint of the desire, captures it like a photo, carries with it, and another body is being made. My Guru Maharaj said, for every desire you have in your heart in this life, one body is ready now in your next life. This is for every desire apart from Krishna conscious desire. So every material desire will be fulfilled. Don't worry. So suffer your enjoyment. He said, suffer your enjoyment. So this explains how we are taking birth. Bharat Maharaj was a king. He was leading a very Krishna conscious life. Up to the last point, when his attachment and compassion overtook him, right? And he ended up having to be born as a deer because the deer was very dear to him. The deer was very dear to him. Puranjana in Srimad Bhagavatam was very much attached to his wife. And in next life, he became Puranjani. So the subtle body creates the gross body, and the gross body is only an expression or reflection of what the subtle body wants. So the consciousness which you are having now is coming from past imprints. So whenever we are acting in gross body in any life, okay, it is because we are acting based on the demand of the subtle body from the previous life. After the gross body is lost, the subtle body continues to carry the desire we had in the gross body. Then the gross body becomes the instrument of enjoyment for the subtle body. The stockpile of desires, is imprinted in the subtle body, and it again moves to the next gross body to fulfill the desires. You can understand the logic. So we have the experience of the dreams to understand this. So even in this life, when you go to sleep in the night, the desire for flying takes flight in your subtle body. You want to fly, right? So the subtle body takes up. So because you're sleeping, gross body is sleeping now. So the subtle body becomes free of the gross body, and now it starts building castles in the air, and the dream world is created. So all the things you cannot do in the the gross body when you're awake, which you are fearful, right? You do it in the dreams. So we are able to differentiate the gross body and subtle body even now, right? In this case, right? And at death, there is a clean cut. So the gross body is not the problem. Problem is with the continuation of desires. Very important point to understand. Somehow or the other, we must have desired something to do with Krishna. Very wonderful. This is an encouraging point. Somehow or the other, we are all now sitting here hearing Bhagavatam. Krishna has selected all of us to hear Bhagavatam today in this auspicious ISKCON month. Somehow or the other, we must have desired something to do with Krishna, so that by the mercy of the Lord, our subtle body has arranged that now we are becoming fine-tuned to Krishna consciousness. We must have had a glimpse of devotional service by contact with the pure devotee in our past lives. So now we know what desires are and how they move from one body to another. So the change in the subtle body is more important than the change in the gross body. Prabhupada very wonderfully writes the purport of Bhagavatam 6.154. If a human being is taught to change his subtle body by developing a consciousness of Krishna, at the time of death, the subtle body will create a gross body in which he will be a devotee of Krishna. Or if he is still more perfect, he will not take another material body, but will immediately get a spiritual body and return back home, back to Godhead. This is the process of the transmigration of the soul. So instead of trying to unite human society through pacts of sense gratification, that can never be achieved, right? Prabhupada says it is clearly desirable to teach people how to become Krishna conscious and return home back to Godhead. This is true now and also at any time. In Bhagavatam 5.5.4, Nunam pramatta kurute vikarma yad indriya pritaya apnoti na sadhu manyeta atmanoyam asanapi kleshada asha teha. When a person considers sense gratification the aim of life, that is only aim, right? He suddenly becomes mad. Mad after what? Materialistic living, and engages in all kinds of sinful activity. He does not know that due to his past misdeeds, he has already received a body, which although temporary, is the cause of his misery. Actually, the living entity should not have taken on a material body, but he has been awarded the material body for sense gratification. Therefore, I think it's not befitting for an intelligent man to involve himself again in the activities of sense gratification, by which he perpetually gets the material bodies one after another. See, the moment we do anything apart from Krishna, it is sinful. The moment we do anything apart from Krishna, it is sinful. The result is we become mad. And again we perform sinful activities. The result is accepting another gross body. Our gross body is not a reward from Krishna. Please understand this point. Our gross body is not a reward from Krishna. We have forgotten the fact that our past misdeeds have given us this body. And this body is the cause of our miseries. So a very sane gentleman should stop the cycle of desires in order to stop the cycle of birth and death. We should stop the cycle of desires in order to stop the cycle of birth and death. So with the sword of knowledge, it is time now to become even more fixed in the fact that our approach to devotional service should not have any material motivation. Material motivation binds us, even as devotees. That is why we are trying so hard for so many years. But we are getting frustrated. There is no taste. See, we seem to be dragging ourselves for Mangalarti or for chanting. This is because the desires from our subtle body are impeding our progress. Our mind, intelligence, ego are not with Krishna. Narada Muni says in Bhagavatam, the reason for our dreams is the stockpile of unfulfilled desires. Devotional service is so powerful that despite the fact that a devotee has subtle desires, the Lord is so kind that in devotee's dreams, the desires are fulfilled so that those stockpile of mental desires are quickly dissolved in one stroke. We see the kindness of the Lord, right, in this. So desires of subtle body are dissolved by Krishna consciousness. The real thing we must control is not the gross body. The subtle form remains as residue in our hearts. They come in the form of pride, envy, adoration. All these are subtle forms. And that show that the four regulative principles are still being broken. See, we may not have any illicit connection, but it is in our heads and hearts. We may not eat meat, but our violent tendencies continue. And they are exhibited in our treatment of devotees and other living entities. We may not eat them, but in one way we are also hurting them. So subtle desires, drag us down. And the way we behave will often be reflected in our consciousness. And then the devotees will exhibit undevotee-like character. That is why devotees sometimes become very fried, disgusted, and lose courage. See, politics, prajalpa, they are all different forms separate from vision of the Lord. And this is causing the oscillation of the mind. Dushtita matihi. The mind is agitated because it is not firmly anchored in Krishna. So, if subtle body is not anchored to Krishna, it is very hard for the gross body to move with Krishna. This is how the mind is the root cause of all our problems. So the mind is the root cause of all the problems. So mind should be anchored to Krishna. So 5:11:17 says, this uncontrolled mind is the greatest enemy of the living entity. If one neglects it or gives it a chance, it will grow more and more powerful and will become victorious. Vadabhra Viryam. So although it is not factual, it is very strong. So it covers the conscious position of the soul. So we should try to conquer this mind by the weapon of service to the lotus feet of Krishna and the spiritual master. So we should do this with great care. As long as we are in Srimad Bhagavatam class, Krishna is pleased with our service to Srimad Bhagavatam. And we are free from the onslaughts of the mind. Till that time, there are no desires, no material body is created. So this time, when you are hearing, Krishna is pleased with our service, and we are free from the onslaughts of the mind. So there is no desire and no material body is created. But most of the times, in the name of performing our physical duties and in the name of Krishna consciousness, we allow our senses to run wild. So the solution is that we must understand one thing. There is no other reason for the misery in this world. No other reason for the coming back to this world except the dictation of the mind. So do not blame anyone in this world. Any situation in the world, do not blame. Any circumstance in this world, do not blame. Just blame your own mind every time you are in difficulty. Nobody should be blame anybody. Bhagavatam 11:23-42 gives us definitively that the mind is the cause of all miseries. The Avadut Brahmana said that he says, these people are not the cause of my happiness and distress. Neither are the demigods, my own body, the planets, my past work or time. Rather, it is the mind alone that causes happiness and distresses and perpetuates the rotation of material life. Bhagavatam tells us very clearly, only the mind is the cause of our happiness and distress. So the subtle body is the problem child and the leader is the mind. This problem will not be there if we are equipped with the weapon of service to the lotus feet of Krishna and the spiritual master. My Guru Maharaj refers to Bhagavatam verse 4:29-69 as a definition of Krishna consciousness. 4:29-69 as a definition of Krishna consciousness. It says, Krishna consciousness means constantly associating with the Supreme Personality of Godhead in such a mental state that the devotee can observe the cosmic manifestation exactly as the Supreme Personality of Godhead does. Such observation is not always possible, but it becomes manifest exactly like the dark planet known as Rahu, which is observed in the presence of the full moon. So this verse means that we must accept the plan of Krishna. Then we are observing the manifestation of the world the way Krishna observes it. It simply means this. We must always see and accept the plan of Krishna. Seeing the plan of Krishna is not enough. After seeing it, we must accept it. If after seeing you reject, you are again in difficulty. If you accept, then your vision and the vision of the Lord are in one line. When that happens, then there is no oscillation of the mind. There is peace. If we do not cooperate with the material energy of the Lord, but exploit it, then our vision is separate. Then material energy will consume us. If we cooperate with the material energy, we live under the spiritual energy. So once we are under the spiritual energy of the Lord, the subtle body's desires are automatically taken care of by Krishna consciousness. Very important point. Once we are in Krishna, the spiritual energy of the Lord, the subtle body's desires, it is always there, right? Desires will be there. They are automatically taken care of by Krishna consciousness. The devotional service is so powerful, it can dissolve very naturally all material desires in one go without separate endeavor. And so Bhagavatam 3:25-33 very beautifully says, Bhakti, devotional service, dissolves the subtle body of the living entity without separate effort. Just as fire in the stomach digests all that we eat. So the only way to conquer the mind is by weapon of service to the lotus feet of spiritual master and Supreme Personality of Godhead. So this devotional service must also be performed without interruption. Unmotivated devotional service allows us to do continuous devotional service. Unmotivated devotional service allows us to do continuous devotional service. So we should be doing nice chanting, reading of Bhagavatam Bhagavad Gita to glorify Krishna. So this way, devotional service becomes unmotivated. The moment something is unmotivated, what follows is uninterrupted performance. So if we want to do uninterrupted devotional service, Srimad Bhagavatam gives us the secret that you should become unmotivated. If we come to the programs to glorify Krishna, Krishna gives uninterrupted time with him. If you come to glorify yourself or satisfy some desire, then for a while you will be given a chance. But after a while, obstacles starts coming. Obstacles will come. So if you want Kirtaniya Sada Hari, chant the holy names constantly, the motives in the heart must go. If the motive is not there, then the devotee exhibits all the qualities of Trinadapi Sunichena, humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw. Tarunapi Sarushana, more tolerant than the tree. Amanina Manadena, devoid of all sense of false prestige and ready to offer all respect to others. Then only Kirtaniya Sada Hari, constant chanting the holy name is there. So we can see that only those devotees who are genuinely humble do not expect the respect, but are always respecting others. So these are the persons who continuously come to the programs, and for them, Krishna gives the chance to do devotional service year after year, year after year. It is not by accident. It is on the principle of devotional service. So the motives or desires prevent uninterrupted devotional service, and the urge to fulfill the desires makes us plan. Right? Urge to fulfill the desires, it makes us plan, right? Planning is the monopoly of the subtle body. And the subtle body is always wants to plan. So my Guru Maharaj says that planning means desire. And it's a fact that nobody plans if he has no desires. The only desire the subtle body must carry with it is to accept the plan of Krishna wholeheartedly with our mind and intelligence. Whether we are successful or not does not matter. Krishna is Bhavagrahi Janardana, and he takes the essence of the devotee's mentality. We have the chance to transform our desires into Krishna conscious desires. That is the desire to spread Krishna consciousness and to become the best instruments in Krishna's hands and lovingly cooperate with each other. Then the subtle body will not give us any problems. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Kodi Vaishnava. Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Vancha Kalpataru Bishkripat Indabhaya Patitanam Pavanam. Thank you for this glorifying this opportunity to glorify Krishna through this wonderful Srimad Bhagavatam verse and try to learn lessons and put it into our daily practice. Hare Krishna. If you have any questions or anything to share, please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Wishing everybody a wonderful Ekadashi today. Prabhu, Guru Maharaj had told about that one particular verse as to what
Prabhu,
is
your
Krishna
voice is
consciousness.
cutting. It's not clear.
Okay. Is it better now, Prabhu?
Little bit, yes.
Okay. So Maharaj had said about one verse which defines what is Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
4.26.69. If you can just repeat the verse.
429. Yes, 429.
429.69. ठीक है, Prabhu.
Correct.
Thank you very much for bringing it to our notice, Prabhu.
Thank you.
And thank you for a wonderful explanation of the verse. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Okay, if you have anything, any questions, any takeaways, if you want to share, you can do that. Otherwise, we'll stop here. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Krishna Mataji.
All that we need to, I mean, just a small point to take, in fact, a big thing to take back is I have to aspire to do unmotivated service to Krishna. And that has to continue in an unflinching mode, Prabhuji.
Beautiful.
Uninterrupted.
Yes, very nice. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much.
I'd like to listen to this class again and again.
Gurudev.
Very powerful, very powerful. Thank you so much.
Yes, this.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, the point that you told about the transmigration, though because of our desires, it will take the next body. That means in this time now itself, the body, what you desire itself will take the body of the next, in the next generation. So that the transmigration. So if you are doing right things now, maybe by Krishna's grace, it will change the whole pattern. That was something very awakening, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, that was
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Hare Krishna. That's very important. That's why this desires, that's why we always think why good people are suffering. Because everything from that example of that container, the harvest being given every year, right? That's how it happens. So that's how bad people are really enjoying nowadays. We can see, right? They are having money and everything, enjoying. But good people who are always good to others, they are suffering. But because of the previous karmas. So, but by being in Krishna consciousness, Krishna will take care of all the papas. That's why Sarva Dharmam Parityaja says, no? Please surrender unto me, I will take care of all this. Yes, anything else?
Prabhuji, one doubt I got.
Yes, Madam.
Okay, I was not in Krishna consciousness for a very long time in my life. Deliberately never made any big mistakes, but of course I may have incurred so many sins knowingly or unknowingly. But having come to Krishna consciousness, maybe now the body that I've already started creating is taking a different turn now. Can it is not going to what you call change what has already happened, right?
Yeah. See, whatever sinful the seeds have been set, that will be still there. See, punishment, any bad activity, punishment will be given. So like that. But for if now you're in Krishna consciousness, then Krishna will take care. Maybe he'll give you smaller doses instead of a bigger dose.
Yes.
Right. So you will be able to tolerate those things.
Even this Harinam Sankirtana is supposed to burn your accumulated past sinful activities.
Absolutely. Correct. Correct. Otherwise, maybe our
To some
sins
extent,
will
at
be
least.
like a mountain. We don't know. That
Yes,
much.
Prabhuji.
So
Thank
that
you
has to
so
be
much for being our Guru, Prabhuji. You're so merciful.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you very much.
Gurudev Shri Prabhupada, Gyanatha Guru Vaishnava. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mother. Okay, so thank you very much, Mataji's. We stop here. Srimad Bhagavatam. Can I close, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you very much for the wonderful Ekadashi class.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. So we didn't feel any hunger, right? So Ekadashi we not missed fasting. By hearing Bhagavatam, if you don't feel hunger, that means you are absorbed in Krishna consciousness.
Rather, it fulfilled all our hunger, Prabhu, by hearing the holy name and hearing about the glories of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we're satisfied, actually. Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Yeah. Thank
Hari
you.
Bol.
Just like Parikshit Maharaj, right? 7 days, 7 nights, he was hearing Bhagavatam Shukadeva Goswami. No thirst, no hunger.
Yes.
So that's, thank you.
Hunger for soul is fulfilled here.
Yeah, that should be our eagerness. Absolutely right.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. That reminds, because the previous class was Srihari Prabhu was taking class on the Mahima of the Ekadashi. I missed that, Prabhuji. I don't know. I think I have to check in the YouTube to type and find out. Even that class was related to Ekadashi only.
Because
No, that yes, Prabhuji. I missed that. Hare
yeah,
Krishna.
you'll get it, Mother. You'll be there accordingly.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. So you want me to close or you can close, Prabhu?
Prabhuji, you are the host.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Ravitendra, for this opportunity. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much.